Hello and welcome to this analysis of Lady Macbeth. In this video I'll explore how Lady Macbeth becomes the driving force behind the murder of King Duncan and the unexpected effects it has on her character. It is usual to see Lady Macbeth characterised as someone who manipulates her husband to achieve her own ambitions. But the textual evidence tells us that this isn't totally accurate. By the time we first meet her, in Act 1, Scene 5, we are already aware that Macbeth has thought of murdering Duncan. He then tells her in a letter about the weird sister's prophecies and that one of them, him becoming the Thane of Cawdor, has already come true. And he signs off the letter saying, "This I have thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that you can enjoy knowing about what greatness is promised thee." Now, one important thing to note is that it is Macbeth who makes this suggestion, not Lady Macbeth. And with a partner of greatness, he suggests they're in this together. It is a joint enterprise. But her reaction to Macbeth's letter is surprising. She basically identifies the reason he won't be able to become king. He's too nice. He's not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. Now, illness means to be morally bad or prepared to do evil. But why does he need to be morally bad? It's because King Duncan is a hereditary ruler, meaning his only son Malcolm will become king when he dies. Now, this means the only way they can become king and queen is to make that morally bad choice and illegally seize the crown. And because Macbeth lacks the capacity to make this choice, she, as his partner in greatness, will have to provide it. And she says she will chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round. Chastise means to rebuke, so she'll rebuke him as a way of prompting him to take the action necessary to become king. Now note that as a woman in this social context, the only real power available to her is the power of speech. She has no power of her own, particularly in a patriarchal society. Now, this decision is morally suspect, but it is what she then does that has made her one of the most infamous characters in Shakespeare. She says Duncan's arrival at Inverness Castle will be fatal, and then appeals to evil spirits to fill her with cruelty and to unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe topful of direst cruelty. Now, direst means evil in a great degree. Unsex means to remove all markers of gender and to make her inhuman. And notice one other thing. She wants the spirits to make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse. Now, in this moment, she unwittingly reveals what will become her major weakness, her capacity to feel remorse. She doesn't yet know this, and neither do we, but it will ultimately destroy her. But more of that a bit later. Now, there are further important things here. First, she says, "Come thick night, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes." Now, at this point, it appears that she intends to be the one who will kill Duncan. It is my keen knife. Keen here means sharp. Thick means dense or profoundly dark, so she hopes that darkness can hide the murder. Now, this betrays the fact that she knows what she's planning to do is profoundly wrong and hopes that the darkness will hide it. She then uses the idea of hiding one's intention when she first sees Macbeth. She suggests that they'll kill Duncan tonight, and when he shows some resistance, she says, "Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it." Again, this suggests she's not dealing with his or indeed her own underlying reservations, and Macbeth's reservations don't take long to emerge. He says, "We will proceed no further in this business." And the next 51 lines are amongst the most crucial in the play because without Lady Macbeth's next intervention, the entire story would grind to a halt. It's here that she launches a full frontal assault on what she perceives to be Macbeth's weakness, his inability to take the immoral decision to kill the king. She says he's a coward. She questions his manliness. She even says, most shockingly, that she would rather murder her own baby rather than fail to do what is necessary to realise their destiny and become king or queen. But notice that he stands firm against this assault until she comes up with the plan to get Duncan's guards drunk and frame them for the murder. His spongy officers shall bear the guilt. This convinces Macbeth to kill Duncan. But while she thinks he just lacks the courage to commit an immoral act, she's wrong. He has a very different worry, the consequences of his actions. Earlier in the scene, in soliloquy, he had said, "If he murders Duncan, we but teach bloody instructions which, being taught, return to plague the inventor." He fears he would simply be creating a set of bloody instructions that will show others how to kill him when he's king. So his actions would return to plague him, the inventor of regicide. But now there is a plan that means there will be no consequences for Macbeth, and so he's happy to go ahead. But very quickly things began to unravel. Very quickly. First is that Lady Macbeth, despite talking about her keen knife, says she would have committed the murder had Duncan not resembled my father. As he slept, I had done it. The fact that she didn't indicates there are moral limits beyond which she cannot go. And what's more, when Macbeth immediately has regrets, Lady Macbeth's first instinct is to get him to stop thinking. Consider it not so deeply. These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So it will make us mad. She tries to convince him to take the daggers back to Duncan's bedroom, and when he won't, she attacks them again for lack of courage. Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. This is the moment she will come to regret. She gets Duncan's blood on her hands, and despite later thinking it can just be washed away, the effects on her mind will never be washed away. But for now, they are trying to cover their tracks, and the plan might have worked had Macbeth not decided to kill the two grooms or guards that they were going to blame for Duncan's murder. This was unplanned, and from here on in she gradually loses control of Macbeth. For although they now become king and queen, Macbeth is focused on trying to control the fallout of the murder. He says, "To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus." She tries to convince him not to think about the past. Things without all remedy should be without regard. But he's not to be persuaded. He says his mind is full of scorpions, and when she asks what his plans are, he simply now replies, "Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed." And Lady Macbeth is then largely ignored and sidelined. In the banquet scene to celebrate their coronation, she's left trying to repair the damage as he shouts at the ghost of Banquo. And her final words in this scene are the last time we see the couple together. She says, "You lack the season of all natures, sleep." Now the irony of this line is not felt for some time, because the next time we see her, she's sleepwalking in Act 5, rubbing her hands and saying, "Out, damned spot, out I say." Yet who would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him? And this is the last we see of her. A woman who tried to convince herself that murder could be forgotten and that they could move on as if nothing had happened. And shortly after, we hear that she had killed herself. The passageways to remorse clearly could not be stopped up, and the effects of trying to hide their crimes has sent her mad. So I hope this video has given you some useful insights and that it helps you to get greater enjoyment from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and subscribe now so that you never miss any of my future posts.